Right, for this month's bait kitchen, we're out in proper bit of weather. We're here with Christian from Individual Baits. They've got a brand new concept, it's a little bit special, so we've come to find out a little bit more. Christian, Steamies.
Yep, it's all the rage at the minute. It's catching fish all over the country, and not just any fish, good fish as well, mate. The reason we decided to steam it basically was when you have your vegetables at home, I'm sure you eat your veg at home and it's all steamed, not boiled. When you tend to boil food, it's an aggressive manner of cooking. It'll roughen up the cellular structure, it'll break down the fats and acids and just make the nutrients less available to obviously us, and in turn with bait it makes them less available to the fish. Scientific tests have proven where they've boiled vegetables and they've steamed vegetables, and they say that when you boil a vegetable it can denature by around 66%.
Really?
As opposed to steaming it, it will only denature by around 10–11%. So you've got a 50% margin of improvement you can make on any bait out there just by changing the method of cooking it. And the response the fish give you is just unreal. It works instantly. I think part of the reason it works so well when you get it out is where it's never been submersed in water and washed through in the boiling process. It tends to draw water on really fast once it goes in the swim. So literally within a couple of hours it starts to look washed out like it's been there a day or so already. I'm sure you've boiled your baits before, Joe, and you tip that water down the drain at the end of it, and like I say, 66% of the contents of the bait are residing in that water you tip down the drain. That obviously doesn't go anywhere when we steam them. It's locked into the bait, so they don't leach all of that flavour that you pour away before you even get to the bank. They don't turn that out until you get them into the water. And
that does make a huge amount of
it
sense.
does.
Say, I am a steamer, I don't like, you know, you boil, like you say, you boil your broccoli or whatever, it just doesn't taste the same, does it? The texture's a lot softer. And
that's exactly it, and fish ain't silly. They know when they're onto a good thing. Like I mentioned earlier, there's been times where we've had recaptures. There was a guy fishing on the Mid-Kent water this week, and he's had an absolutely gorgeous fish out, which has got pearly scales all over it. He caught it at 32, I think it was Sunday morning. He moved swims because the fish activity died down about 300 yards up the lake. Caught the same fish again later on that day. He didn't take pictures of it a second time, but that fish he had it about 3–4 weeks ago at just over £30 as well. So on the same bait he's had it 3 times in a space of a couple of weeks or a month, and then twice in the same day from opposite ends of the pit. The first 2 baits that we come out with was BTC, which is a banana tuna crunch, and that was a fish meal nut base, and again a fruit fish combo. At the time we launched that in 2006, there was a tuna boom. Everybody was fishing tuna something or other. That was, as I say, that was more of a summer warm water bait. And the TNT for the same venue we'd been fishing that on, we started putting it in over the winter, and didn't realise what a special bait we'd stumbled onto, to be fair. In the early testing stages, it was taking 20s out in the winter on single hook baits. It did 3 its first day out for 3 different anglers. So yeah, it was quite a good result to start off with, and before you knew it, it was the peak of summer and you're fishing over 2 or 3 kilos and catching fish and thinking, well, there's no need to change bait to a summarised or warmer water bait. There's no need to change off of your fish meal onto, you know, a milk protein or a birdseed base for over the winter, because we've got a true all-season bait that fishes well all year, and it really does give the fish meals a run for its money all year round. Brilliant.
That's an interesting point you touch on about the, you know, the different, not needing like a fish meal for the summer and blah blah blah. It's something I've noticed a lot the last few years. There's a lot of people using these, you know, these high protein, high, you know, really digestible baits that just sort of go through them really easily. They get all the goodness from it, and like as a result, like you say, they eat it all year round.
Full of carbohydrates, and that's one of the main things with the nuts. There's a lot of fats in there as well, and acids, and obviously all the other bits and bobs. But the carbohydrates, once they seem to get on them, they don't want to come off. It's giving them lots of energy. They're full up. They're feeling good, and the general condition of the fish that eat it long term are absolutely superb.
Brilliant. Well, I've heard quite a lot about this Pina Colada. I know it's sort of done you well at the weekend, or your girlfriend.
Yeah,
well
my girlfriend. Yeah, she fished in the big fish event and she managed to take first place. She was part of a team, and let's just say she banked quite a few fish. I think she had the first fish from the event, she had the biggest fish in the event, and she landed the most fish. And I think she had about 4 times the weight that second place ended up with. So, yeah, it was quite a good situation, and I think it'll really make people stand up and take notice of how effective the bait is when it's pitted against every other bait from around the country, you know, in a competition format as well.
Without doubt, yeah. So this is another one that's absolutely brilliant for the winter, isn't it?
It's so simple, and in all honesty, Joe, I think it's a blatant bait. You look at it and you'd go, "Cool, that's a bit blatant. I can't see the fish getting on it," but it is. With the pineapple and coconut, it's the main source of the flavour. The coconut's not a flavour actually. It's we use the cream coconut, the stuff in the can, so it's more of an extract or a food source in itself. And again, it's just so simple. It's so visual, matched up with the fluoro hook baits that go with it.
You've got to do fluoro hook baits these days, haven't you?
Of course you have. We try to have
so many fish.
Yeah, we try to have a range of fluoros and matching so that we can cater for basically everybody's needs in the baits in the range, really.
Brilliant. Right, now with the steaming thing, you've got a little bit of paste here just to show us the sort of difference, haven't you?
I don't know if you fish much paste, mate, but it's...
I've dabbled with bits and bobs in the past, yeah.
It's a massive edge.
Is it something you do a lot, is it?
Paste to me is as effective as pellets, if not more, because it's, you know, it breaks down faster and it's the matching flavour for your baits. So you can't get a faster breaking down product that's going to leach the flavours and the goodness out to attract the fish quicker than paste, really.
It's funny, a lot of people, I mean, myself personally, you know, it's something that I think about in the winter, but not in the summer. But, you know, why not? I mean, like you say, at the end of the day, all that does is breaks down into a gooey liquid attractant around your hook bait. So
well, again, we've all been fishing. There's a few of us on the team that have been fishing for years. We've done fishery management. We've all studied it at college, so we kind of know a little bit about what's going on under the water rather than just what's going on around the bank, you know,
yeah.
Joe?
That's, well, makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, of course it does. If you have a look at the paste, the colour of the baits pretty much matches the paste exactly, whereas
normally it'd be quite a sort of washed
yeah,
out.
generally with a boiled bait. I mean, those, if I told you now, Joe, they'd turn out a light pink if I was to boil those up for you.
Right, Christian, obviously we talked about the paste, massive edge at any time of the year, not just
yeah,
the winter,
doubt,
but we are creeping in sort of autumn, wintry times, looming. You got any little tips for the winter?
I've got just the thing actually, Joe. We do these high attract carp mixes, and basically they're a very versatile product. You can use them to make big balls that will go out in catapults or on the casting pouches. They'll go in excess of 100 yards. Basically, they're really good. You mix up a bit of the attractors with them and a few crush baits, and for an extra bite tactic over the winter, so you put in maximum attraction into the swim and literally hardly any food at all. So when they come down, there's you know, all the feeding signals to get them going, but there's nothing for them to eat, so they get nailed every time. So I'll just show you a bit of this and how it works. So what I tend to do is mix a bit of the bag mix, and I like to get a few of the baits, and I'll get them in the faithful old crusher there. Just literally get a few of those in there. And again, we've got the PVA friendly glug, so ideally they're perfect. You can pack them nice and tight for long range work. And again, you're getting lots of attraction in there.
That looks nice.
Get my fingers in there. This is the most fun part, to be fair. I love it.
It's sweet, isn't it?
Yeah. There's again, there's all different elements to the glug, which will keep the it'll keep the paste. It'll keep the glug hanging around on the bottom as well as emitting it all the way to the surface. So it fills the columns over the winter, and it really does encourage them to come down throughout the layers and get down and feed on the bottom, which is, let's face it, it's where we all like to catch them the most, I think. I'll just get a bit of that in there. And what you'll find is once the water's gone through these can sort of break down in sort of 10-15 minutes on the bottom, which I think is absolutely ideal. And it's a bit of a messy job. But you can see that paste, it's even taken on a bit of the colour now.
Yeah, it's gone
quite yellow, which is
yeah.
good. It matches the baits really well, so that you've obviously got something not too blatant, not too distant from what you're actually fishing. And we add lots of little seeds and pulses and things in there, and the good thing about those is again, the minute the stuff breaks down around them, they will start emitting to the surface, which is again, it's like little naturals coming off of the spot, and it will encourage fish to come down and feed on the bait.
Fantastic.
Obviously grouped with the fluoro hook bait, a little pop-up and a little bag of that, you've got visual attraction, and you've got, it works really, really well. Yeah. So,
all right, indeed. Well,
brilliant.
Nice fun for that. Sure we'll be seeing a bit more of you in the future, that's for sure.
Yeah, mate, it's all picking up, it's going good, so there'll be lots more to come from us. We've got a few baits that we're testing at the minute, so you know, maybe they'll be out for next winter, as we want to give them the right good testing this winter. And
superb. Look forward to seeing it on Carp TV.
Yeah, no worries, mate. I'll be back next year, early next year in the spring, and I'll let you know how we got on with it.
Wicked.
Brilliant.
Well, Christian, it's always nice to see one caught on the actual bait, mate. And
yeah.
You've only had the rods out, what, an hour?
Yeah, probably about an hour.
And you're bagged
so,
one.
Pretty pleased. Well, I'm pretty sure the bait's never been down here before, and I've certainly never fished it. So, you know, watercraft and good bait really does put them on the bank. Nice
to see that it's, it's definitely an active one.
Yeah, I think the fluoro hook bait helped.
I mean.
And yeah, the fluoro hook bait and a little bit of paste in the bag. just a little stick pulled onto the rig and then just cast it towards the weedy area, and I knew it had to be holding fish, so yeah, it was the right tactic, it paid off.
Pack of stuff, good angling.
Blinded.
Right, dude.
Let's get her back.